Serious, some people say you'll learn nothing from video games and that they are a waste of time. So, gamers of Reddit, what are some things you've learned from a video game that you never would have otherwise? I'm Australian, so I know nothing about American history. Assassin's Creed 3 taught me the basics of the revolution, and later I had a conversation with a guy and he thought I was well read. The funny thing about appearing smart is that you just need to speak with confidence and hope no one within earshot specializes in whatever you're saying. You can convince people that the moon is slowly drifting towards Earth and is expected to land in the Pacific Ocean on the 2nd of August, 2043 with this tactic. I learned English, mostly from in-game chat. I also learned how to call your mom a W in about 10 languages. Teach me your ways, master. The entire geography of Europe. I feel like this is one a lot of multilingual people experience, but one of the reasons I've become so fluent in English is because I didn't know how to change the language games came in. Yep, I knew a Brazilian guy with fantastic English who learned pretty much all of it from Final Fantasy. English. Definitely English. I really wanted to be able to play the computer. English is not my native language, and back then, all adventure games were text-based, so I asked my mom to teach me the alphabet. I had an English Pictionary for English, ended up learning read-write in English, before learning it in my native language. Reading, no joke, it helped me grow very quickly in that field. How to control myself and how to better deal with the frustration of losing and overcoming it. Teach me your ways, I just get pee off. From MMOs I learned time management and budgeting. Ironically, it's the most time and money consuming type of game. Copper and tin makes bronze. Wool comes from sheep, leather from cows. Glass is made from sand. Interesting, I learned the same thing from the Aladdin TV show as a kid. Dark Souls taught me that you only lose when you give up. And Spec Ops, the line taught me that sometimes stopping is the only way to win. Patience, perseverance, how to play the long game, inventory, budgeting, and I am really good at getting back out of places where it's easy to get lost, like unfamiliar office building or ridiculous parking garages. I am a master of escaping dungeons thanks to video games. Video games taught young me that sometimes the best way to overcome obstacles and solve problems is by letting someone else look at them. Other people's perspectives can sometimes make the solution seem obvious, and sometimes it's better to set the problem down for a moment and come back to it with fresh eyes. Also, lots of puzzle solving and determination was learned through video games. It also taught me that I'm almost never the first one to encounter a problem. Somewhere out there exists a guide to solving that problem, no matter how unlikely it seems. Civ 2 exposed me to geography. I find it fascinating. Same here, I love that game. I always tried to win by happiness instead of war. I learned cleaning up pollution after nuclear bomb sucks. I learned orbital mechanics from Kerbal Space Program. From The Sims 4, I learned interior design and torture. I learned the basics of circuits from trying to make redstone creations in Minecraft. Same here, but I kept designing farms and crazy contraptions. Take a concept, try and do something with it, and then try and make it better somehow. And most of all, things won't ever work the way you want on the first try, no matter how genius your idea is. Also, I now know I want to pursue electrical mechanical engineering, so that's pretty sweet as well. The save it for later concept. You know how sometimes you'll get a really rare one-use weapon, or an extremely expensive health item, and you never use it until the final boss because what if you need it later? And then you finish the game with 85 health potions? It's like that with life. Have a favor you can call in? Save it for when you really need it. Some cash you have hidden away somewhere? Save it for when you have engine trouble. I learned that from video games, and it is very useful. Guess I learned the opposite then. Playing games really brought home the idea of life's too short to save the good stuff for a special occasion. Great storytelling is in the execution, not the platform you use to tell the story. A hero that says nothing but means everything, versus someone that says everything but means nothing. I learned gaming can be very therapeutic for my anxiety. I can definitely identify with that. Focusing entirely on a game would make my anxiety melt away for a while. Honestly, super frustrating gaming sessions were actually better because every time I lose all my souls or keep getting sniped, I'm so p that I forget to be anxious lol. Sometimes, it's just not your day. Concentration is key. Playing it safe. Collaboration sometimes need compromises. Some people just don't share your priorities. If you find enemies, you are going in the right direction. And if the obstacles enemies get harder, that means you leveled up. If you hit something it can't hit back. Tried it on an NPC, it did not hit back. Tried it on the receptionist, she did. From watching my son play GTA, I learned the importance of passive income lol. It makes me realize why no matter how rich you are, you will eventually be broke. No income that isn't working for it. How to accept when someone else is better than you at something, be it due to their experience, natural ability, or training. Nah, they have an aimbot. Fun fact, video games actually help build up better hand-eye coordination. They're also used by military and pilots as a type of training, because simulations are still video games with mechanics and points. Video games literally help people build up in useful careers and train the brain to be more coordinated. I learned about the Temple of Angkor Wat, the Nazca Lines, and the mythical lost continent of Mu from Illusion of Gaia, SNES. In real life, the Nazca Lines do not summon a floating garden from the sky, which is very disappointing. Everything not saved will be lost. Nintendo quit screen message. Bro. Patience, humility, and curse words. I was camping with my dad once and pointed out coyotes yipping somewhere in the distance one night. He was surprised I even knew what that sounded like. Red Dead Redemption taught me what all kinds of animals sound like in the wild. Yes, and plant identification. Though be warned, it is both illegal and doesn't taste good to catch and eat a salmon when it has turned red. That's when it's spawning and decomposing. This is less of something I learned and more about a way a video game has helped me in life. I'm an extremely anxious person. Panic attacks, social anxiety, phobia, the works. I had a trip planned with my mom and family. It was a cruise. The first time I would ever leave the country, and it was a new city every day. Freaking awesome on the surface, but I was scared shitless. I was getting sick months beforehand due to stress, couldn't sleep, etc. Even during the trip, the first 2 nights I had horrible panic attacks for hours and all I could do was hide and cry and hyperventilate. Anyway, not long before I left for the trip I started playing Breath of the Wild. I spent hours just exploring, would stand on the mountains and literally just stare at the screen in awe. I don't often leave the house, and for the first time in a long while, I wanted to see things even though I knew it would bring anxiety. That game is the only reason I was able to get on the plane. It's the only reason I was able to fall asleep the 3rd night on the trip. It's the only thing that made my anxiety bearable enough to speak to people and to let myself look at what was in front of me, and I actually enjoyed it. It's absolutely great the game helped you. If your anxiety still continues to this day at that level though, I highly recommend professional help. You should not suffer through literally crippling anxiety. Creative problem solving. Maniac Mansion and games like it, including a Beavis and Butthead version, encouraged outside of the box thinking when I was younger. And this was pre-internet, so there was no looking up videos on solving a puzzle. Dota 2 and other MOBAs have taught me how to work with other people I have never met before. Surprisingly useful. Also have taught me a bit about operating on incomplete information. True. They have also taught me how to get any crap done in toxic environments and how to both lead a team and follow the leader too. XGF tried to prove how much smarter she was than me, and asked me what the country Zimbabwe used to be called. Me, the ever-intense Metal Gear Solid player, immediately answered Rhodesia. The look on her face was priceless. From Minecraft I've learned the multiples of 8. Flight sims have helped me build and maintain working memory, short-term memory, long-term memory, situational awareness, fast decision making, and simple mental math. I've learned that art, music, design, and a lot of creative career paths have a lucrative outlet in video games. I've learned that people that you meet online are real, and the friendship you make with them matters just as much as the one you made with your hometown buddies. Just about every star type, every planet type, how big the galaxy is, etc. Source: Elite, Dangerous. I'm a programmer. I learn lot of new languages from modding game. Without these game I hardly have any motivation to learn new programming language beside what I need for work. I live in northern Canada, so to be blunt, the winter weather is cold and the roads are icy, usually the majority of the time. It was one of the first years I was driving by myself, so I was still new with little experience. I ended up starting to lose control of my car and started sliding with my car rotating, so I was on my way to becoming sideways on this street, with oncoming traffic and parked vehicles on the sides. But just as soon as I started slipping, I immediately and instinctively corrected my vehicle's movement by doing a near full spin of my steering wheel and then back. Might be exaggerating a little, but the strangest thing to me of it all is I did it while completely calm and focused. Never having been in a situation like that before while driving I roll. Looking back on the situation, I feel like I got it from GTA V maybe, or old school racing games, something of the like. TLDR, video games improved my reaction speed while driving, and probably prevented an accident. It only took half a racing game for me to figure out how to drift in real life, which is probably going to cause an accident for me one day lol. Civ 5 taught me the importance of planning ahead. Get the nukes before Gandhi gets them. That's where I learned most of my English. I wouldn't have never learned it otherwise, but video games did really help me to learn English. Playing racing games, Dirt Rally, Assetto Corsa, iRacing, etc. has taught me a lot about car control. I can't say it saved my life or anything, but in a few sketchy situations I've kept calm and known how to regain control of a vehicle and prevent an accident where otherwise I might have panicked and made things worse. Also the proper decision making when it comes to suddenly appearing obstacles on the road. Had to swerve around a deer about a month ago, realize when later playing some Need for Speed that the traffic eye behaves very similar to deers and that I made the decision when avoiding that deer I also made when avoiding traffic eye. From GTA Online, some people are jackasses who just want attention. It's far better to ignore and avoid them to get things done than to feed their needs. As much fun as it can be to stomp them into the ground, it's ultimately a waste of time. You have been visited by the romantic doggo. Comment love is magic so you never fall in the friend zone. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.